So before we even start limits, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with a couple other things. So if I gave you this graph, said, okay, that's f of x. Could you fill in those boxes? So just like think about what you would put in there. If you're confident, write it down. If you're not confident, wait until I talk about it. If you don't know this, you're kind of screwed on limits. So like f of 1 just means what's the y value when x equals 1. That's all. I think it just looks confusing. Some people have 1, f of 2, whatever. It's just saying what's the y value. So f of 1, what's the y value when x equals 1? Would be 2. F of 2, what's the y value when x equals 2? 0. And this I'm just going backwards. So if your y value is 1, what was your x value? There's two answers actually. 0 or like 2.5 maybe-ish. Oh yeah, 1.5, there's three answers, yeah. So like 1.5 and 2.5. Is that good? That's fair? That's easy, right? Alright. So, try to draw that. So we'll try to make that like a 3, this a 2, these two at 1. Let's say this is g of x. And so I could ask you for g of 0, g of, let's say g of 2, and g of 3. So that is just saying where is the y value at this given x value. So when x is 0, what's the y value? 0 also. When x is 2, what's the y value? Now that's where the closed dot is, not the open dot. So that's 0 also. And then when x is 3, what's the y value? It's 3. It's the closed dot, not the open dot. But now limits are different. When I'm looking at a limit, I don't care what the y value is. In theory, I'm not even supposed to know what the y value is. I just want to know what it looks like the y value is going to be. So, the easiest example on this graph is if I said, what's the limit as x approaches 3 of g of x? So, for the limit, it's almost like we pretend we just can't see anything on that line g equals 3. So like we're pretending that this, we just don't know what's there. And we look at, like, okay, what does it seem like the y value should be or would be when x equals 3? Not lined up well. So the limit as x approaches 3, if I'm coming from this side, it looks like I'm going toward a y value of 2. Going from this side, it looks like I'm going toward a y value of 2. First of all, it has to match. Second of all, it has to be, I don't want to get into that yet. So yeah, it has to match from both sides. And you're looking at where it looks like it would be going, not necessarily where it is. Sometimes those are the same, sometimes they're not. If I said, what's the limit as x approaches 2.5 of g of x. So 2.5 is like here. I have to pretend I don't know what's going on right there. It looks like my y value should be about 1.5. Do you agree? Also, my y value is about 1.5. So in this case, they're the same, but they're not always. When they're the same, let's call them continuous. When they're not, it's called discontinuous. That's called it in a couple days. So the limit as x approaches 2.5 would be approximately 1.5. Limit as x approaches 2. It's a different question, but there's a different thing going on here. So if the limit exists, it has to be the same coming from each direction. So as I'm coming to 2 from this side, what does it look like my y value is going to end up at? 0. And as I come from this side, what does it look like my y value is going to end up at? 1. So if I just say to you, hey, what's the limit as x approaches 2? Are you just going to like pick one randomly? It doesn't work. So if it's different from either side, you're going to say it does not exist. So what we're looking for is where the y value is headed. Whether or not a closed dot exists is irrelevant. And if the limit exists, it must be the same from both sides. Scientific notation. Like negative infinity to 3 and 3. Yeah, that's coming up too. Yeah. Can I move this, or is everybody still writing it? Still writing it? Okay. Yeah.
Why do you spell like limits the word with 2 Y's off of invocation LIM?
Well, this is like my notes. Like I'm just putting a topic headline and I'm trying to remind you the limits are y values. This is like technically official math notation. I don't want to mess with that. That seems like I don't have the authority to do that. I mean, I don't want you to see LIM. Like I write LYM every time on a test. On the AP does says LIM, and you're like, what the hell is this? All right. So let's make up another. Let's call this h of x. I know it's hard to recreate these graphs. And then try to answer those 3 questions too. Try what? This line right here? Is that better? That's what I strive for. I like it. Stick. Yeah, let's ignore this top question for now. The top right one for now. We'll get to it, but we haven't really discussed it yet, so. I'd have to say, like, what's the limit as x approaches 0 from the right? The right-hand limit, yeah. Did you do limits of pre-calc? Oh, that's because he went to.
Well, we did a little bit of calc too. We had like 10 weeks after.
Oh, really?
To do like nothing, so
oh, cool. You don't like derivatives?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Really? So you did like a basic intro of like each of the sections.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good or not yet? Good to go or wait? All right, I'm going. All right, h of 0. Freight, what do you got?
H of 0.
3? Why? Yeah, that's why. Call somebody. Who? One word, what's h of 1? Why? How do you know it's not 1? All right, calling somebody. She ignored the person with her hand raised to call on you, too. Yeah. Nate, what do you got? As x approaches 1, what's the limit? Yep. Yep. Why? So if I asked you the limit from this side, what would it be? 1 from this side? It would be 2, and that's different, so it does not exist. Nate, calling someone. Lauren, what's h of 2?
0.
How come?
Because that's where the closed dot is.
Calling someone.
Easy.
Casey. see what's the limit as x approaches 2. There's not even a point at 1. How can it be 1? There's not a closed dot there. How can the limit be 1? Right. So it looks like we're heading toward there. What happens at that actual spot doesn't really matter. Call someone. Be a little meaner. Pile, what's age of 3? So you're doing it now because I didn't write it down before. What is the limit as x approaches 3? 0. Anybody? If the limit and the value match, what does that mean? It's continuous. Pile, calling someone else. Diaz, what's the limit as x approaches 4? What is that for? Does not exist. So is that continuous? No. There's a hole. Questions here? How many had all those right? All 5 of those right? Okay. I'm not going to give you homework again because I'm not quite to where I wanted to get in this time. So. No homework again? Keep going tomorrow.
Mr. Davis, I have something that you want me to get for tomorrow. Well, you said feedback.